Hey y'all, welcome back. My name's Sarah and this is my channel, The Sassy Bookworm. So today I wanted to talk about the dreaded reading slump that every reader goes through at some point in time. A reading slump, if you don't know, is a time period where you just don't feel like reading. So today I wanted to give you some do's and don'ts about reading slumps. So my first don't is gonna be do not give in to reading slumps. Reading slumps are evil. Just keep trying to pick up the right book. You know you, so you know what kind of books you like and you know what could get you back into reading. My second don't for a reading slump is don't force yourself to read. If you force yourself to read a book, you're not gonna enjoy the book as much. And it could just put you further into a reading slump, honestly, because that's happened to me multiple times where I've finished this book while I was in a reading slump, but I didn't feel that close to anything in the book. I didn't feel that close to the characters. I didn't think the book was as good as I thought it would be going in, I guess. And I blame it on the reading slump. I don't blame it on the book. So don't force yourself to read because you could ruin a book for yourself. My third don't is going to be don't start a series or a big book. I feel like if you try to start a series while you're in a reading slump, it's just gonna get deeper and deeper because you're in this reading slump, you're not gonna enjoy the first book and it's gonna make you not want to continue on with the series, which isn't fair to that series. You need to give this series a chance. And if you try to read a big book while you're in a reading slump, I feel like it could discourage you with not getting it done as fast. It just depends on like your reading speed, I guess, with that. But I wouldn't suggest it just because I feel like if you're in a reading slump, you need to get to a book that's kind of short to get through it, to kind of get you back into reading. My fourth don't for a reading slump is going to be don't try to read something that's new to you. Not saying like a new book like that you haven't read before. I'm saying like a new genre, I guess, because if you try to read a book that is for a different genre and you're in a reading slump, it could ruin this genre for you. Even if you think that it's something that you would enjoy, I'm gonna say that it's a don't because the genre deserves a chance, just like I said with the series. So don't try to ruin anything for yourself for a reading slump. So now let's get into the do's about reading slumps. So my first do is going to be read an old favorite of yours. If you know it's a book that you enjoy, a book that always gets you out of a reading slump, or a book that you've read multiple times and every time you've read it, it just makes you so happy and excited about books again. So like for me, when I get in a reading slump, I always pick up Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I love this book. I literally read it 2 times in a row whenever it first came out because I pre-ordered it. Most everyone knows about this book. If you don't, it's about a girl named Kath and her sister. They go off to college and Kath is a really in-depth fangirl. She writes fan fiction about Simon Snow, which is a book character in this series, and she's a really big fangirl. Obviously the title is Fangirl, and it's just about her dealing with being a fangirl, like not saying like it's a bad thing, but like coming to terms and people accepting her and people just loving her for who she is and everything. It's a really interesting book. I've never seen anything like this really, where it's a fangirl. Like sure, you have books where people like stuff and blah blah blah, but I definitely enjoy this one because of how fangirl she is about books. My second do is going to be read standalones. Of course, I said a while ago, don't read series, so that really only leaves standalones. Or like short stories that you can either get on like your phone or you find like a collection of short stories. Just read some of those to get you kind of slid back into reading. And another thing I suggest with like reading standalones and short stories is read a short story from a series that you've already read. Like there's many times that a book series will have like little novellas, so to speak, as like an ebook or something. So that's definitely something that you could do, would be to read like the short stories about the series that have like follow stories about the different characters. I really enjoy those. So I'd like to read those when I'm in a little reading slump because they're just quick reads and it kind of gets you back immersed into the world of reading and like how you felt when you read that series that you loved. Just try to read books that won't like overwhelm you. Do number 3. For number 3, I'm gonna say read about something that you're interested in. Like something that's kind of going on in your life right now, if you know of a book like that. Or just a book that you feel like you're in the mood for. Like there's sometimes where I'm just in the mood for a good vampire book. Sometimes I just want a good contemporary. It all depends on how you're feeling. Don't try to read a book that's in your TBR if it's not a book that you think that you could enjoy right now. But not least, do number 4. For this one, I'm going to say listen to audiobooks. They're a good way to get you back into reading without you having to like actually pick up a book and try to read. I listen to audiobooks on the way to work a lot of the times, like I said in the rapid fire book tag that I just did like a couple of videos ago. Of course, audiobooks aren't for everyone. This is more of if you like audiobooks or if you're willing to give them a try while you're in a reading slump. This is probably my most suggested just because I love audiobooks so much. I don't own that many of them, but I still really enjoy the ones I have. Like I had The Fault in Our Stars and I listened to it 2 times in a row back to back because I just loved it so much. I listened to In the Age of Love and Chocolate and that whole series, and I've also listened to the other John Green books because that's how I started reading John Green, was on audiobooks, so I felt like I wanted to get them all in audiobooks is how that progressed. There's one final one that I want to talk about. I didn't know whether to put it in do or don't because it kind of depends on who you are, like what could get you back into reading. I was gonna say read a book that could get emotional, but at the same time I wanted to put it in the don't category because if you're trying to read a book that's emotional but you're just not getting into it because of this slump, then you don't get as many feels from the book. So just depending on who you are, depends on that if you should read an emotional book or if you shouldn't. For me personally, I would go for the like more emotional books because if it's so emotional that you either like cry about it or you laugh or just you get connected to these people again, then I feel like it gets you back into reading quicker. So yeah, I just wanted to do this quick little video for you guys today. I thought it would be a neat little discussion with the do's and don'ts of a reading slump. In the comments down below, what kind of books do you read to get yourself out of a reading slump? Like a lot of people read Harry Potter or really nostalgic books. Of course I already said I go for like Fangirl and books like that. I want to hear about y'all's books that you read when you're in a reading slump. So anyway, that's all I've got for you guys today. Like this video if you want to see more discussion videos like this, more do's and don'ts about reading. I think that I could make this like a new series, like do's and don'ts of reading standalones, do's and don'ts of reading series. Comment down below, like I said earlier, with what books get you out of reading slumps, or how long have you been in a reading slump, because I was literally in a reading slump for like 3 months straight. Hit that little subscribe button down there if you want to see more videos from me, some more interesting discussion videos, some tag videos. I try to make at least one video every week, so hopefully I'll have another video up soon, and I'll see you guys then. Bye! Now, the reading, I just lost all my words.